Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most significant XRP video ever made. A huge spike in the price of XRP is imminent. Even if the cryptocurrency market may initially make you question it, specialists in the field are well versed in it. Particularly now that Coinbase, the biggest cryptocurrency exchange globally, is firmly supporting Ripple. This might be one of the most optimistic indications we've ever seen. Some analysts even think the price of XRP Ripple could hit $58,000. That sounds rather awesome, doesn't it? However, this is only the start. Let's dissect it in detail. Notice, Coinbase is making an unprecedented foray into the XRP market. Additionally, it might signal a shift in how institutional finance views one of the most contentious and robust digital assets in cryptocurrency, not only for Ripple. In order to self-certify an XRP futures product, Coinbase has formally submitted a filing to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. This futures contract, which represents 500 units of XRP, is set to be live on April 21st and will be posted on Coinbase derivatives. The benchmark used to price the product was created by Market Vector, a company that also worked with Coinbase on its Coin 50 index fund. This action is not arbitrary. According to Coinbase, the decision to proceed was largely influenced by the maturity and depth of the XRP markets. More significantly, Coinbase interacted with market participants and registered intermediaries prior to filing, ensuring that the foundation was established with significant players and that no significant objections were voiced. This is not merely a product launch. Rather, it is a declaration of faith in XRP's future from a business that shaped the U.S. digital asset market. Although Coinbase's statement caused a stir, it was a part of a larger pattern. In March 2025, Bitnomial, a little-known but fully regulated U.S. exchange, became the first to offer its own XRP futures. Since their agreement is physically settled, XRP is handled by the exchange directly rather than through monetary equivalents. Bitnomial settled its legal disputes with the SEC at about the same time, claiming a change in the regulatory environment. The timing wasn't coincidental. It shows that XRP is gaining traction in both the U.S. derivatives market and larger institutional circles. Despite everything, Ripple has persisted in advancing its mission. More importantly, CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently alluded to the possibility of spot XRP ETFs in the future while discussing XRP's consideration for the U.S. government's strategic crypto reserve. According to Garlinghouse, the question of whether or not an XRP ETF will be approved is not if, but when. Recent SEC actions are the foundation of that confidence. The agency has acknowledged certain ETF files pertaining to XRP and has withdrawn its appeal against Ripple. We are currently seeing the beginnings of a regulated future for XRP following years of legal stalemate. What is an ETF, therefore? And why is it important for XRP? Consider an exchange-traded fund, ETF, as an asset vending machine. Purchasing shares of an XRP ETF on the stock market is an alternative to holding XRP directly and keeping it in a wallet. It is simple to control and available to large institutional portfolios, pension funds, and retirement accounts. Because it allowed for a whole new type of money flow into the market. The approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs caused a spike in the price of Bitcoin. If an XRP ETF is also approved, it might allow traditional finance to pour money into Ripple's ecosystem. Coinbase's entry into the XRP futures market is a crucial step in the development of this institutional highway, not just another listing. Coinbase is instructing Wall Street that XRP is prepared for prime time by providing a regulated futures product. Futures contracts generate interest and liquidity. Price frequently follows an increase in interest in a regulated setting. In contrast to 2020, when XRP was being delisted and rejected, the tide has now flipped, and it is now being accepted, legitimized, and subtly positioned as a crucial asset for the next phase of cryptocurrency adoption. The participation of Coinbase greatly increases credibility. It's among the few cryptocurrency platforms that both institutional and retail players trust. Any decision Coinbase makes in the XRP space is significant given their reputation and experience with infrastructure compliance. They appear to think that XRP's next big move is structural rather than merely speculative, as seen by the fact that they are laying this kind of foundation. Gentlemen and ladies, although the whole cryptocurrency market has suffered, there is increasing speculation that XRP may be the one coin poised to break the trend. Experts are not only optimistic, they believe that even the most seasoned investors may be surprised by what Ripple has in store. Stay tuned because what happens with XRP next might alter everything. With Coinbase jumping in, we might be about to see a breakout that nobody expected coming. XRP isn't simply surviving this market. It is flourishing due to its untapped potential and spirit hype. The community is more vocal than ever, and people's faith in XRP's potential is growing. The largest digital asset based in the United States, according to cryptocurrency influencer XRP Dragon, it's more than simply pride-speaking. This statement has a lot of ramifications. While Bitcoin and Ethereum are frequently the focus of the cryptocurrency attention, XRP is creating something more complex: infrastructure in the real world for international finance. It serves as a link between blockchain technology and conventional banking. Many people think that no other coin can play the same job. Steph, on the other hand, didn't mince words when she tweeted, "Nothing stops XRP. Don't let them take the next Lambo from you." The XRP army is currently vibrating with that type of vigor. The path ahead appears more like a launch pad with Ripple Coinbase racing headlong into XRP derivatives and whispers of ETFs on the horizon due to the legal storm behind it. However, the price forecasts are when things start to get crazy. With the shocking tweet, "XRP is going to $10,000 come rain or shine," Remy Relief. It seems crazy at first, but it makes sense when you look closer. This is more than just buzz about Moonboy. Remy's optimism stems from XRP's unparalleled usefulness. In his words, the currency isn't meant to sit in a cold wallet gathering dust, but rather to transfer wealth immediately across borders for pennies. If you think BTC with no use case can go to $100,000 and XRP that will run the world can't, I got news for you. It's not just Remy either. That assurance that XRP reaching $10,000 isn't a pipe dream was reiterated by John Squire. This demonstrates why XRP operates under separate guidelines. The final issue on the market cap fallacy is not as important as this. According to conventional wisdom, XRP cannot reach 5 or even 4 digits without surpassing the market capitalization of the whole world economy. However, proponents of XRP contend that this reasoning is refuted when considering on-demand liquidity, real-time usefulness, and the potential application of XRP in central bank digital currency systems. XRP is designed to move, not just sit, in contrast to speculative tokens. Then there is CryptoGeek, who caused a stir when he tweeted that Forbes had predicted that XRP would soar to $58,000 per token. Regardless of its validity, that prognosis encapsulates the unadulterated optimism regarding XRP's future. The XRP community is currently getting ready and not simply wishing. Thus, even though the whole market may be unstable, XRP isn't slowing down. The trust of the community. One thing is clear from the institutional momentum and growing media attention: XRP's narrative is far from over. Actually, the most fascinating part may only be getting started. And since collaborations are so important to XRP Ripple's rapid expansion, let's examine what's actually going on behind the scenes. Because believe me, there is a degree of insanity going on right now that most people aren't even aware of, including secret trials at large institutions and worldwide banks. This is more than just hype. It serves as the framework for a revolution in finance. What you're going to hear has the potential to permanently alter your perspective on XRP. Let's examine what's going on here. Since this isn't your typical financial report, it's a bold signal of how Ripple's XRP is transitioning from a speculative asset to a foundational pillar of global finance. SBI Holdings, one of Ripple's most prominent partners today, peeled back the curtain on XRP's real-time circulation and its expanding utility across borders. Their last financial statement remained under the radar, until the XRP community's own Wrath of Kahneman spotlighted it on X, sparking conversations across crypto circles. The revelations that changed the game. Out of the 100 billion XRP in total, supply about 57 billion are currently in active circulation. In the meantime, the XRP ledger fee structure has already burned over 13 million XRP. A sophisticated design decision that gradually raises scarcity and stops spam. For its part, Ripple has around 5 billion XRP, of which an astounding 37.43 billion is locked in escrow. Because it prevents XRP from simply being thrown into the market, that escrow system is essential. It is released gradually and predictably. By controlling inflation, this is Ripple's inherent stability feature, which boosts investor confidence. This is where things become even more intriguing. Since 2020, SBI has distributed XRP as a component of their shareholder benefits program. What began as small payouts, 796 XRP total, corresponding to about 8,000 Japanese yen at the time, has skyrocketed. In value, the current value of those identical distributions is more than 354 yen per XRP. This seven-fold increase demonstrates how the price of XRP has changed as it gains traction in the real world. This is about momentum, not simply numbers. The partnership between SBI and Ripple began in 2012 and has only grown stronger over time. SBI currently holds 9% of Ripple, making it the company's largest external shareholder. In the Asia-Pacific region, which has enormous cross-border payment needs, their joint venture SBI Ripple Asia is leading the way in remittance infrastructure. They created history in 2021 when they introduced Japan's first international remittance service powered by XRP. That was just the beginning. What's silently happening here is a test run for global adoption. These aren't hypothetical partnerships. They're genuine regulated systems moving real money across borders using XRP. The argument for XRP's usage as a universal bridge currency is strengthened each time a payment is made using SBI Remit or Ripplet. If that model works, and everything indicates that it will, then institutions worldwide will be able to use it. This is how XRP's price could soar to unprecedented heights, not by marketing, but through practical need to address issues that the existing financial system is unable to handle. Demand for XRP would soar if it were to become the preferred liquidity option for banks and remittance providers globally. Additionally, if supply were strictly regulated by escrow, market dynamics would radically shift in favor of long-term holders. We've already noticed it. Coinbase and other organizations are venturing into the futures market. XRP is being incorporated into shareholder portfolios by SBI. The groundwork has been established. Imagine now that this identical concept is being applied throughout Africa, Europe, Latin America, and beyond. Naturally, the whales were unable to ignore such a strong bullish signal. They have been quietly but actively purchasing XRP behind the scenes, building it up to levels we haven't seen in a long time. This is a powerful move that says a lot. There is a clear message being conveyed by the key actors' covert accumulation, which is not a coincidence. A significant event is approaching. This is when things get very spicy, so stay tuned because the next section will show you just how far down this rabbit hole goes. The market as a whole receives a very strong signal when the largest exchange in the world transfers 200 million XRP, which is worth around $400 million at the moment. The XRP community went into a frenzy when Whale Alert was the first to notice this massive transaction. All the characteristics of a whale dump were present in the large transfer from an unidentified wallet to Binance. That's what many people thought anyway. Here's the dump after comments went crazy. A big step will buy them if you sell them all. The tension was palpable throughout crypto. Twitter Whale Alert revised its claim to establish that the wallet in question was, in fact, owned by Binance. But as the dust settled and the facts were clear, it became clear that this was not a panic sell or exit dump at all. To put it another way, Binance was transferring its own XRP between wallets in an internal transaction. So why would Binance take that action? Internal reorganizations of this nature are not arbitrary. Usually it indicates readiness. Getting ready for the reallocation of liquidity, the creation of new trading pairs, margin trading, or perhaps an increase in institutional access. When finance handles hundreds of millions of XRP behind the scenes, it's because they're preparing for something significant. They know what they're doing. It's critical to comprehend how this contributes to the larger market narrative. Whether it is accumulation, movement, or strategic shuffling, whale activity frequently serves as an early warning sign of impending market volatility. These transactions typically indicate that the major players are setting up shop before the price changes. Additionally, keep in mind that whales make pumps rather than chasing them. As Michael Van Epp, a cryptocurrency analyst, once stated, "Smart money moves early quietly. 200 million XRP didn't move randomly. It was carefully planned and timed." In a market like this, where XRP is becoming more popular due to institutional interest and utility partnerships, whale moves become signals rather than noise. So what does this mean for ordinary holders? It signifies keep your eyes open. When the largest players in the game are secretly transferring hundreds of millions of XRP, often it's the quiet before the storm. And if history has shown us anything, it is that XRP doesn't remain silent for very long. The only thing left to ask is, what do you think about that? Are you optimistic about XRP? The Ripple token. What do you think will happen? Please let me know in the comments area. I'd be interested in knowing. With that, this video